We are well into the second 500 here of the women's U17 quad C final. In lane 1, Camp Randall. In lane 2, our early leader by just a margin now, a slight margin, Great Miami. Lane 3, hotly chasing our current leaders. In lane 3, the Woodlands. And in lane 4, hotly chasing our current leaders is Seattle Preparatory School. Lane 5 is Sarasota chasing Seattle Preparatory School. In lane 6 is Seattle Prep B. In lane 7, North Carolina, and lane 8 is Hockaday. Still very close here, David, across this field as we get close, as we cross into the second 1,000 of this race. Great Miami in that blue hull out of Ohio there was our early leader, and it looks like maybe they edged out just a little bit more. They don't have much of a lead, as in lanes 4 and 5 there is a very tight race happening between Sarasota and Seattle Prep, which is putting pressure on our early leaders out of Great Miami.
Yeah, and you saw the bow woman in Sarasota crew boat look a couple of times there. And what she's probably doing is telling the other 3 women in that boat that they just got past that boat from Seattle Prep and that they are starting to gain maybe a little bit on Great Miami. I want to point out North Carolina Rowing Club. Not sure I've ever seen them at Youth Nationals. Maybe their first trip. They're out of Greensboro, North Carolina in lane 7. But another just tremendously close race here. You see that blue boat far left side of the screen? That's lane 2, Great Miami. They continue to have the lead, but you see Sarasota Crew now has a couple of feet, 4 or 5 feet on Seattle Prep. Those are the 2 boats sort of right in the center. Then it's probably the boat next to Sarasota, which is Seattle Prep B. So 2 Seattle Prep boats here going almost the exact same speed and also flanking Sarasota Crew in this C final of the women's under 17 quad. And you can see from that gorgeous side shot that the dark boat there is Woodlands. They are also right in the mix with Seattle Prep B. And it does look like the gap maybe got closed just a little bit in terms of Sarasota and Great Miami. And anything can happen here in the last 500 meters at this point because the momentum is really with Sarasota Crew at the moment. And
it does appear that the two boats out of Seattle Preparatory School are about to come level with one another with an interesting race unraveling between the Woodlands and North Carolina, trailing those are our leaders that are currently there. Those 2 boats are in lanes 3 and 7 respectively, the Woodlands and North Carolina, and so there we're about to pull level with one another. So now as we get into the last 350-ish meters of the race here, the momentum was with Sarasota, but they still haven't quite pulled up to what Great Miami has laid down for the vast majority of this race. As you can see, the Sarasota rate, those white blades are going to the water, the white hull, the pink hats there, they are surging, they're attempting to, but there is no coxswain here to let these athletes know where they stand against the rest of the field, but there is something happening over in the Great Miami boat too. They know that Sarasota is nudging up on them, and they are responding to the call. 250 meters to go, less than 25 strokes or so, as the conditions allow these boats to cover a lot of ground very quickly here, not just the fact that they're in quads. So does that leave Sarasota enough time to maybe nudge out a bow ball ahead of Great Miami, because it's a 1.25 mile race. You don't have to win by a boat length. All you need is a bow ball the size of a golf ball there, and sometimes it comes down to that.
Yeah, or even like a centimeter if we're coming down to a digital photo at the finish line. It's Great Miami. They're trying to hang on and stay ahead of Sarasota Crew. It did have Great Miami at about 1.5 beats lower than Sarasota Crew when I took it about 200 meters ago. And it does look like they are lower still and still staying in front of Sarasota Crew. Those are your top 2. There is tremendous speed out of some of these other lanes, though, particularly the 2 Seattle Prep boats. In fact, Seattle Prep B may have gotten past Seattle Prep A, which is quite interesting. At the finish line, it's going to be so close. Oh, wow, what a finish. That got super close in the last 3 strokes. I looked out, and it was easily a deck for Great Miami. Sarasota Crew closed that completely down to a photo finish at the finish line. And then it was 2 Seattle Prep boats, I think, just ahead of Woodlands. And then it is the boat from North Carolina finishing ahead of Camp Randall and the Hockaday School. What a finish. If the times are to be believed that have come through, Sarasota did nip Great Miami at the finish line. Obviously, it's unofficial. that is a tremendous finish by Sarasota crew. They had just something that they squeezed out in 5 strokes because they were clearly behind Great Miami until at least those last 10 strokes of the race. That was the women's under 17 quad final C. The next race that we are going to find ourselves with is going to be the 8s, the men's